is going to scoop it up and make it to 7. That is an astounding round, one to remember.
He-Wave gets hit. What a perfect use of that specialist. He stops the dunk from coming in. That is definitely a play to keep in mind. Classic with Afterburner. One player to beat, though, that's wall running as well. He turns around, passes it to his teammate. Mooney moving it forward with the drone. He's got overdrive. He's going for the dunk. Is he going to float on in? Oh, that was so anticlimactic. The story of my life as he uses
Hold on, we got to score. It doesn't matter. Yes! The greatest upward play ever.
Looks like they should be able to at least put a two-point play on the board here. Yeah, they have an opportunity. Has to get back. And he's got kinetic as well, so they have an opportunity to actually make this happen. You see the drone get into the hands of OpTic. Slasher picks up, not able to toss it for yards, though. It's actually going to be
got this. I think
in
they
the
have
hands
a chance.
He's got to pass it.
Turn around. You got to run. 6 seconds left. They should be able to get the dunk. And there it is. Tie game. OpTic Gaming. 3 seconds left. We've got OT.
Try and get a pick here. Dogman's going to toss in a nade, try and get a hit marker, but I don't think they have any idea spaces in the corner.
Oh, you got to be kidding me. Look how cocky this is. He's still alive.
Really?
He flies in, tries to no-scope one. He watches his teammate drop. Is he going to be able to connect with this thing? There it is. Aqua, man on a mission right now. He buys a second. He's a maniac. He shouldn't be alive in the first place. And then he soars in one. Woo! Aqua, you filthy, filthy man.
My mom supported me for most of my gaming career, and my dad didn't really start supporting me until I won the COD Champs. He also wanted me to keep my grades up, do my homework, study for tests. He just wanted what's best for me, like any parents would. But now they're like full-fledged into it. They have Twitter, and they watch all my videos on YouTube. Everything, they're just very supportive now. I took a semester off college because I just knew I was going to be doing a lot of traveling. It would have just been really tough to keep up in school and to be the best player I could be for my team. I'm a submachine gun player, so I'm always in your face, running at people, do the objective, cover my teammates if they need cover, or just go to the lane that's open. Call of Duty 4, when I first started playing, I placed top 8 my first event. I started my first live stream and people came out to watch. FaZe Clan has a ton of fans, and now that I'm on FaZe, there's just a bunch of them. They're always tweeting us, congratulating us. I'm just going to keep writing it out, keep doing my absolute best. I don't think I have a personal biggest rival, but since we're on FaZe, probably OpTic Gaming, because last year FaZe won an event and then OpTic won 3. Clayster, myself, Replays, and JCap were on Denial. We beat OpTic at Call of Duty Championships and won that tournament. And then OpTic won the next 2 tournaments. And then when we formed our new team with myself, Zuma, Enable, and Clayster, we beat OpTic 3 times on LAN, and they haven't beat us yet on LAN. So it's really fun when we play them. They're probably the best team in the game. Always love hanging out with them. But when we're in game, we're rivals. We just got to play each other, and it's always really fun because it's always an intense match.
Every day, I probably get 5 tweets on my Twitter asking, how do you become a pro gamer? Do you have any tips? You have to be dedicated, put a lot of time into it. You have to be patient. I've been putting in 8 to 12 hours a day. Eventually, if you're a good player, you'll get recognized. Just from playing video games, they come up and say, hey, dude, I'm a big fan. I appreciate what you do. And I think it's cool that someone wants me to write sharp on a piece of paper because I play video games. Right out of high school, I was traveling a lot. We went to Germany and stuff like that. So, my family is like, why can't you hang out? And I'm like, well, I'm doing this. I have to play in this tournament. They've been to some of my tournaments. They usually watch all of them online, and my mom will sit there and watch my stream sometimes when I'm playing. So it's nice to have a supportive family. My brothers, they think it's pretty crazy. There was a tournament in Columbus that I went to, and they all had mullet wigs on because my whole thing is mullet nation because I'm from Kentucky. So they were all rocking mullet wigs, screaming in the crowd. So it was pretty cool to see them out there. I think my team this year can go as far as any other team can go. I think we're one of the best teams. Blackops 2 was Team Caliber's best game as an organization, so I think Blackops 3 would just be the same thing.
The crowd is going wild because what time is it? Which match is up next? Can someone tell me?
It's OpTic Gaming versus Team Solo Mid, and I am as excited as a child on Christmas morning.
You're always excited.
What team is that?
OpTic Gaming, have you ever heard of them?
No?
I think
OpTic Gaming versus TSM. This is going to be an interesting matchup because we got my favorite player on the TSM, Pac-Man, going up against my boys in green right now. Be as unbiased as possible, but I definitely will be harder on them than any other team. So Scump's going to hear it if he does something stupid.
There you go. The pressure's on. The pressure's on for OpTic, not just to win, but to make sure that they don't get called out by Nate here from the couch. But OpTic versus TSM, when we looked at the entire bracket for the playoffs, everyone kind of agreed, hey, this is probably the match that's most lopsided, right? Most in favor of OpTic.
Yeah, I mean, you look at everything that OpTic has shown in Stage 1, they're basically top 1 or 2 in every single game mode. It's no secret TSM, they have a tough hill to climb. We've seen some crazy things that have happened this weekend. Is it possible? Yes. Do I personally think it'll happen? No.
I'm very interested to see how TSM plays with Ivy because they parted ways with Proof a couple weeks ago. It was very recent, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And now Ivy just like coming in has to fill him some big shoes that Proof used to hold down. It's going to be really interesting to see. But they've played with each other before. I remember that they were squad at one point, at some point in Advanced Warfare. So they're very familiar with each other. But I really want to see Wheats because he's just been a player for me. I've been a big fan of over the years. He was a great player in Call of Duty 4. Took a little bit of a break, but he's come back, and he's as strong as ever right now.
Yeah, it's a really good point that you bring up the roster that, you know, changed kind of last minute, but at the same time, when you're going up against a team like OpTic, maybe this works in favor of you, right? Just bringing out that change, something that changes the tempo and attitude of your team, going up against it. But the highlight throughout this season, Jack, for TSM has been Chan.
Oh, definitely. Breakout player of Stage 1. This is the guy that has really filled that exact role right there, Slayer. He's consistently more than holding his own. Expect him to be a big difference maker on this map alongside the main AR now of TSM in Wheats. These guys have tough roles right now as they're going up against the best of the best in the game. Definitely need them to help TSM put up a good shot.
Yeah, Chan has really surprised me because he did really well in Call of Duty Ghosts. I didn't hear much of him in Advanced Warfare, but apparently he's been putting some waves down in this game, Black Ops 3.
Some waves, for sure.
Some wave. He's being real wavy, bro. And he's got like the best name. Was it Chan Chansey? That's incredible, dude.
Incredible.
I really am. I'm curious to see how he performs versus OpTic, though, because I know my man Krim. This is it. This is Stage 1 finals. I can't imagine what's going through his head. I'd be terrified to be playing on that team right now, on OpTic, not TSM, bro. I don't want to get. I'm afraid I'm going to get yelled at on this casting, on this couch.
The ones who have everything to lose because any tournament, any what kind of person is that? You only
Intentional who's better, you know, Rise, even OpTic, even FaZe. This is for OpTic Gaming to make it one team and one team only, and that's the Green Walls, the best team in the game.
Yeah, and of course, kind of leading the charge so far in Season 1. Scump's been in that spotlight a lot, kind of becoming that all-around player.
He is someone now, I mean, Matt, you guys were the duo for ages. This guy just doesn't stop.
That's my boy. Yeah, he kills it, man. I honestly, one of those things that I've seen Scump do over the last couple of years, he's really developed as a smarter player because I always used to give him a hard time. I'd always be talking down to him like, yeah, you can get these kills, but you need to know how to make these plays in Search and Destroy. You need to know how to make the smart play, not the aggressive play, and he's really coming to his own. He's the captain of the team now, and he's been holding it down. You know, he's not really the vocal leader of the team, but he really keeps that team composed with his comedy, his humor. They don't ever really get into arguments. I mean, when the best player, arguably the best player in the game, is one of like the most humorous people, like you're just never going to be in a stressful situation.
Yeah, and the tunes really changed, right? Even during the pre-show, Matt was saying, Mr. X was saying, all right, well, if I had to choose a weakness, it'd still be maybe the SND and how he rotates on hills. But that's if you had to. It doesn't stand out as a Scump has a weakness. He's clearly topping it off in all the different charts when it comes to Call of Duty.
No, not at all. And I think the one thing that actually we kind of can bring up with this TSM squad is I think OpTic are so heavily favored here that the way TSM helped themselves win in this is trying to get into the heads of OpTic Gaming. We've seen OpTic as a team in the past struggle in their first matchup of the weekend. They get a little bit of a slow start. They've got to get into things. I mean, I think you experienced
I'm getting nightmares.
You've experienced that one firsthand, exactly. But then also, obviously, when a team is so heavily favored and the likes of TSM, you know, maybe bring them close in game one, take an S&D off them,
that might start to get into the heads of OpTic Gaming, especially if the communication collapses. But now you're probably like, no, that'll just fire them up.
What scares me so much about OpTic is now that I'm not on the team, they have a player that just fills in every role, and that's Karma. I think now that they have Scum, Formal, and Crim6, you don't talk as much about Karma as you did before, but in Black Ops 2, he was without a doubt the best player in the game. You were scared to play Karma because it seemed like he was on every part of the map at any given time, and he was just picking up kill after kill after kill.
Right.
And he's done a good job of coming into his own on this team, on this game, because I know he struggled a little bit in Advanced Warfare finding his place, but I think they've been really working as a unit. You only lose 2 matches out of 22 online. I'm really looking forward to see what they can do this weekend.
Yeah, on the flip side, I mean, when we talk about OpTic 20-2, it doesn't matter which map, which mode you talk about, they have those wins. But when it comes to TSM, not only is their overall record not that good, Fringe Hardpoint, not a single win throughout the regular season. Ooh. Not looking good as they start off this best of 7.
And I think that kind of is a testament to their AR-type play, right? I mean, you mentioned the big hole, that proof he left behind, one of the most legendary assault rifles in the history of Call of Duty. I think that's more than safe to say as a player. On a map like this, you're going up against OpTic Gaming where there's Formal. You've got the other ARs getting brought out. You expect OpTic Gaming to really command map control.
Yeah, the problem with TSM, I don't really see them as a hardpoint team. I think that's a team that's going to have to go get those nitty-gritty wins in Search and Destroy, Uplink, and CTF. Okay. They just don't have the slang power to match up against certain teams, and it's not really a negative thing. It's just they know what their strong suits are. They're going to have to take every single S&D. They got to steal a hardpoint, or they got to steal an uplink or a CTF, and then it'll be smooth sailing from there, hopefully. But
yeah, especially
I know
when
OpTic's
you're
not going to let it happen easy.
When you're looked at as the underdog, you want to make sure you only focus on the strong points rather than trying to pick all the battles. You got to pick and choose. And it's going to be bans all around so far, and 2 of those perks going Afterburner and Overclock, so they don't want any of those X factors.
I really like seeing Wheats get rid of Afterburner, solely because I feel like OpTic, they have such great movement. That might slow them down a little bit. I'm curious to see if anybody gets rid of Flak, because then Nade just become completely irrelevant, and Ivy going with a ban on Heatwave as well. So that's definitely an interesting call.
Yeah, it almost seems like TSM, I mean, they know that they're going to be the weaker team coming in, so they want to make sure that everything's as standard as can be so that they know, how to pick those battles, how to make it a little bit more equal, and then Semtex getting banned out at the end.
I'm surprised by that one, because typically it's Karma who's one of the better players with those Semtexes to catch them in those pockets where players are hiding behind cover in the hard point. He's great at kind of being the first line into breaking a hill. There, though, Scump gets his kinetic armor. He definitely has a smile on his face when selecting that one.
You know what OpTic just did? They just set themselves up to not have to worry about any tacticals, no grenades. It's going to be sheer gunfights. That's
what they've done all stage.
And that's their strongest suit right there. They're just such a dangerous team when there's no other X factors when it comes down to gameplay. It's just movement, kills, communication, and that's where they really thrive.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about OpTic, right? It's an all-star team, and what better way to prove that than to say, hey, play your heart out, play out individually your best performance, because there's not going to be things flying at you in the air when it comes to those tacticals and nades, and you can just win those gun games. Well, we're about to get ready for this hardpoint on Fringe. And Jack, what do you have to say about this map?
All right, I'm going to be honest right here. This is my first time up here at the Telestrator this weekend, and I'm making it the Formal show right now. You see Formal over your screen. You're a big fan of him. God. Listen, I'll throw in one more for you. He's such a handsome individual. Now, what I want to break down on the Telestrator right here is what presence he will bring on this map. We all remember Retreat Hardpoint in Advanced Warfare, how he locked down all those long sight lines with the AR. He does the same thing here on Fringe. I put 2 X's on the map. Those are the big areas where you'll always see Formal put down a lot of presence. If they spawn in on this barn side, watch out for him to try to watch this little room area, catch his flank first, make sure he can't be caught off guard, because once he does that, all of his watching, everything he'll be doing is right down towards Middle Street. He'll be peppering down fire. He'll do exactly what he can to stay alive. Also, on the other side of the map, if you wind up kind of looking at it from this top granny side, is you'll have Formal, once again, position top grandmas. He'll be putting down fire towards bricks. He'll be putting down fire towards Middle Street. His #1 goal is to stay alive, be the one that lets his submachine gun players in Scump, even in Crim6, to get into the hard point, to get that time for his team, for OpTic Gaming. One final area that I just want to quickly touch on is for Formal to lock down spawns for his team. Expect him to always find a position near this back side of the map for grannies and rails. Definitely a player to watch in this map #1.
The last thing that I have to say is Formal needs a haircut after looking at that picture 6 times. I gotta go talk to him after this game. I was a little concerned about one of your calls, this little room area.
you know,
you've been playing a lot of matches, bro. You should know that call out.
People call it little, small
room
fences.
area? For real?
Coming through little
why am I
room
getting
area.
roasted?
That's a
Bro,
that's a
I'm
mouthful.
analyzing.
Okay,
That's what I'm here to do.
Yeah, that is true. We brought it solely for that reason. Well, we look forward to hearing more from both of you guys as we watch map number 1. It's going to be that first game. Will OpTic come out strong like they need to get that easy win that everyone expects, or is TSM going to put a little roadblock on their way? We'll find out as we go into game with Mr. X and Maven.
Thank you, boys. Let's get it. OpTic, TSM, game 1 is going to be French Hardpoint. How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. And, you know, talking a little bit more about what Jack was saying, you know, Formal going to be big on this map for OpTic Gaming, but I'm really looking at TSM. Wheats just transitions into that AR role. He's been playing pretty well recently, so we'll see how he stacks up in this matchup.
Well, they talked about Formal in the line of sights he's going to be watching. One thing not mentioned, this Shiva getting through. We haven't seen it that dominant in mini-series outside of H2K and Team Liquid, where we saw really back-and-forth battles from both sides with it. But let's get right off the rip with Formal here. Game 1, and I'm just wondering, is OpTic going to have a hot start? Are we going to see the dominating team? Or are they going to come out a little slow and maybe give this TSM team a chance early?
And it's interesting, you know, TSM in the last match against OpTic in the league, you know, they didn't want to show any of their strategies they had coming into this one. Maybe letting the Shiva go through was something that TSM had planned, but nobody on TSM running a Shiva at this moment in time. It's going to be Formal just running it off the break for OpTic Game.
Well, you talked about Wheats and what he's been doing with the AR. He opens up with 3 nice kills to get things started. Just a few points coming in for either side. Usually this first hard point on the first set of rotations going to be a contest fest. Not usually a lot of time coming in for either side. But what do you try to do here? What side of the map do you want to hold when you're looking to start rotating over to Yard?
Well, it's something that's kind of up for debate, right? We were talking about to, you know, be over by that barn side and just be able to funnel through that back alley, and then with about 20-30 seconds
start to push
straight through. But I think Grandma's so important that you need to put yourself in a great position. Even from that tin side, you're still able to kind of trade that timeout in auto in the second hard point. So I think preferably for me, I would go fight for those spots.
All right, well, they're trying to hold it now from back alley. Shots coming in. Krim and Karma both picking up a kill. Karma was on a 4 streak before finally dropping an early lead here for OpTic. 30-point advantage, holding on to Yard, watching both of these entrances from 10. And you can see why some might feel this is the preferred side. You basically have one area you're funneling through there in 10. You have a doorway and a window to watch. The question is, can you effectively push through when the time comes?
Well, I do like having that Grandma side of the map, and when you get in there early and you win the gunfights, right? And Krim gets fortunate there as Colchan takes out Ivy. He's able to take out Colchan right after. But it's quite funny. I mean, Formal's 6-3 right now. Scump 3-6. Those two players, I want to say, like, Formal's playing not very well, but, you know, 6-3, usually expect them to get off to hot starts, still double positive on a lot of kills. But when those two guys are, you know, not dropping huge numbers, as Formal drops down a lightning strike on top of Karma's head, when those two players are not playing well, you usually expect the other team, you know, they have a great chance, make it a game, whatnot. And this is just not looking good for TSM. Obviously, 78-5 this moment in time, heading over towards Grandma. But you figure Scump and Formal really going to turn up, start to heat up.
And that's a big kill there.
Yeah.
Getting him off of back silos and now being able to push from both sides as Scump comes in and decimates Ivy. Not able to pick up a third there. But the man of the hard point is going to be Karma. He's got HC out. You see the rest of his team picking up kills, and they are able to force these spawns out. Push coming from trackside. Who's going to be there to deal with this? It's going to be Formal, set up by Globe. And you can see via X-Ray, everybody from TSM is about to push through. He gets a kill. He gets an assist. Shots firing through as they lock down that tracks push.
When I was saying you can't really kind of hold these two guys down for long with Formal and Scump, and you're starting to see Formal really start to heat up. You know, he jumps right up to second place on the team in kills. But talk a little bit about Karma when Nade was talking about him on the analysis panel, is that I think some of the stuff he does kind of goes unnoticed now. Like, we talk so much about the other three that I think, you know, Karma playing for spawns, SMG, AR, a lot of the stuff that he brings to the team kind of just gets lost, and I think he's been a huge part of OpTic Gaming's success thus far in Black Ops 3.
All right, well, now let's go on with TSM for a little bit here and see if they can hold down tracks, because they are getting blown off the map right now. You see Karma coming in right now with the Tempest, gets 2. That's going to chain. He might get all 3. Is it going to... for the entire team almost. Yeah,
on the side of TSM, you needed Colchan to have a big game. He's 5-14 right now, and then the new addition to the team, Ivy, really struggling 4-13 as well. See if he can get going in the second half, but It's not looking good for TSM at this moment in time. And we talk about specialist weapons, Maven, and the Tempest, we saw it yesterday from Royalty, we saw it from Classic in the first series, now Karma in this one. The Tempest really doing some nice things this weekend. I would be shocked if we don't see more players throughout the course of the matches remaining go towards that Tempest over some of the other weapons.
We've seen it just more and more over these past couple weeks. I saw it quite a bit in the EU last weekend. Not shocked this early on in the Stage 1 Finals for North America. But let's go on with Weeds. He has to have a big impact, and he's got his work cut out for him. He's 15 and 16, so he's getting the kills, doing a good job playing that AR role, but unfortunately, you see his sub-players in the secondary AR really struggling from a flat-out slaying aspect. Every single player on his side double negative right now.
Yeah, I mean, Pac-Man's going to be running that second AR for this TSM squad, and Wheat's doing a good job. No, even, but you got to get some more out of Pac-Man. He's going to try and play for that middle hill, and Formal just sitting in Z, just picking players off, and this has just been a steamrolling by OpTic Gaming this far. I definitely think, we talked about Rise Nation making a statement, trying to get to the finals, trying to beat some of the top tier teams that they feel that they need to beat to prove themselves. I think OpTic, same kind of position this weekend where they want to prove themselves that they're still the best team in the game.
I couldn't agree more. And talk to me a little bit about Crim6. I want to watch him through a few spawns here. He does so much for his team from a leadership and in-game leader standpoint as well. You coached him, you played alongside him sometimes, probably in scrims, I'm sure. Tell me a bit about this guy.
I have, and kind of like what Nate was saying, when Crim has a certain way he wants to do something, he will let you know that that is the way Crim wants it to be done. And he puts a lot of pressure on his teammates, and he holds them to a really high standard. But that's why you've seen him have so much success throughout the years, right? When you hold your teammates to those high standards, and you refuse to let them just be lazy and make bad plays over and over again. You kind of, I don't want to say coach them or train them to, get it out of their mind, but Crim does a great job of just, holding his teammates to such a high standard of play.
Well, unfortunately, it seems like the team that needs a little bit of coaching right now is TSM. They're down by 120 points. The OpTic train has not stopped from the get-go. They are in complete control and looking to blow this one wide open. I mean, the biggest margin I think we saw between two teams coming into Hardpoint was that I think H2K Team Liquid was like a 250 to 70 or 80 score. This looks like it might be even bigger because Scump and crew ready to lock down.
Scump activates that kinetic armor. He's able to get one, but he's just baiting these players into Grandma perfectly. But Ivy wins a huge gunfight, and it looks like TSM could potentially get in control of the hill. It's Crim, though, rotating in with an RK5. Able to pick up one, and TSM needs to get into the hill, get him out of there quick, and you see Colchan picking up 2 kills, and it's going to be TSM taking some time now. They need to lock down these spawns, though.
They have to, and it was Pac-Man and Weeds, the duo, trying to do it, but that's what's tough when you have a player like Formal, the ability to go vertical with the sight there, just ripping him off that back cover, and now opting to take control here of the back. But who is that? It's Weeds, gets the good spawn. They've had control of the back. They're doing a good job picking up some time here, but the question is the lead too big? Is this going to be too little too late for TSM?
It might be, and you're going to see OpTic Gaming. They're just going to give up on this Grandma Hill. Looks like they're going to set up for mid-map, try and put some pressure over on Trax and get control of that hill, because we do see teams take a lot of time on Trax. So you can spawn that team back alley, and you get players pushed out over by Globe and Peaches, and you push people out by Barn. You're able to spawn the team over by that second hardpoint in back alley. You can take a ton of time.
And the HC, you see, not going to be that effective when you saw the 2 perk ones come off. Black Jacket really the only option now in that capacity. So it's going to be a good scouting utility, but not going to do much in the way of kills. But let's look at Karma. Karma +8 right now, almost 2 minutes in the game here for his team. They're looking to shut this out. Can they get it done on Trax? They're trying to get the break. Pac-Man on a 3 streak, has his HC up as well. A long ways to go for that Annihilator, and he's going to need to go huge here on the backside of Trax.
Well, TSM's actually gone huge as a team. Just look at where OpTic's spawning out. Karma dies. He's going to spawn all the way in that back alley. That's exactly what we're talking about. OpTic trying to do, rotating early, but TSM fights for the hill, gets control of it, and they're climbing back into this matchup. And remember at the qualifier when it was Pac-Man and Wheats going up against OpTic Gaming, it was a breach hardpoint? And they were down, it was like 200 to like 60, and then they made that crazy comeback. So a little bit of the same now in this matchup.
Well, you have a lot of veterans on this TSM team. They've seen it all. They've been through adversity. They've had monster comebacks. They've been comeback on. The question is, do they have what it takes to do it now? Still trailing by a wide margin, but the comeback seems to be a glimmer of hope until you get all 4 down for TSM. OpTic regaining control.
That's the easiest way to stop a comeback.
Yeah, that's one solid way.
They're gaining momentum. They set up in the mid, and you see Karma yet again with the Tempest, able to pick up 3. big kills, gets fully streaked out again. And if you are a player not watching...
Don't run to him! Just leave him alone!
If you are a player not watching what the Tempest does and don't think about going Tempest over Annihilator, I think you're crazy, personally.
Well,
I mean,
that was a 10 streak for Karma,
you see
man.
how many kills you can pick up with the Tempest, and Karma having a really good game here early. And it's going to be OpTic Gaming taking game number 1 versus TSM 250 to 136. They're looking strong, man.
Looking incredibly strong, and Karma had a big one for sure. That Tempest, a difference maker. You saw 2 different uses there where he picked up 4+ kills. Impeccable stuff from him, but I want our analysis to break this down. William Chobra, Jack, Nade, take it away, boys.
Thank you, gentlemen, and let's go right off of that first point. Karma with the geez, yesterday we were praising Royalty with his Tempest plays because he was just snapping and locking on, but today that chain on tracks, he gets one and then suddenly just another, what was it, 3-piece right away? That was crazy.
You saw what happened there? They didn't have to deal with the Nate shot of their team anymore, bro. I'm looking at the scoreboard. Everyone's got 20+ kills, double pos. I'm like, oh, well, this makes sense now.
I think Nate shot would have gotten 10 kills with the Tempest like Karma did.
Yeah, you know, it's some light. But no, what happened there was OpTic just at the beginning of the game was just so dominant, and it's exactly what this roster is going to do. I saw every player on TSM for the first 5 minutes. I don't think any of them had double-digit kills. And what happened, you saw like a kind of a flip-flop in momentum. You know, TSM shot up to like 20 kills each, and they were winning those gunfights in the hills, and they were coming on a comeback. But then OpTic just pulled right back away, and they just really settled into what they've been doing the entire game.
Yeah, once OpTic gets a hold, like the beginning, and then at the end, then they start running again with the lead. I mean, in the very beginning, right, like the first minute or so, we see Wheats, you know, you mentioned you want to see him show up. He shows he gets 3 kills. He's like, all right, and they get 5 seconds on the hill, and then they don't touch the hill again until maybe 2 seconds on Grandma's, and then finally on tracks. It takes so long to get that momentum back.
I think the biggest thing that was kind of standing out, obviously, was the huge deficit TSM went down by, but then you made a great point. You said, you know, OpTic, yes, their huge lead they had of like 180 seconds is now down to like 90, but you even said it's too little too late. At that point, it was like 225 to like 140, and you're just not going to come back on OpTic Gaming. They're going to find their groove. They got that 4-piece in mid-map, and then Karma brought out the Tempest again.
And that's why I said before the game even started that TSM's probably not going to win this hardpoint. I feel like hardpoint is one of the one game types, besides like TDM, where kills are so crucial and important. You see Karma right there just mapping people with RK5 with the Tempest, that incredible play with the triple chain kill.
Oh, he had that too. If he just a little bit more to the right, that would have been a sick quad feed.
And this is right where we saw TSM kind of make a change in what they were doing. They were winning gunfights, they were taking time in hill, and then Karma right here. This was one of the sickest plays I've seen with the Tempest all year.
Yeah, just he doesn't stop, and then he's waiting for another, and then 2 more just run forward. 3 actually total, I think, in the end. He just catches them all.
The problem right there with TSM is they have no other choice but to push. I'm surprised they weren't looking towards L-Wall, but they had to move as fast as they could because they're down by 100 points with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left.
Yeah, it just was not a winning formula right there for TSM.
That's the problem with hardpoint. You need to get kills. It's the only game type I think that kills are without a doubt the one requirement. I mean, you can get away with team playing Search and Destroy hardpoint or Search and Destroy Capture Flag and Uplink, but you can't beat OpTic in hardpoint. It's so tough.
Yeah, and to that extent, if you're a TSM or if you're a TSM fan, that's the silver lining, right? Is that, hey, you kind of have to accept, like, we're probably not going to win that map. It was a tough loss, but hey, what else do you expect? It's fine. It's only the first map. Now let's focus on the modes we have a chance on.
Yeah, they just got to hold that L, to be honest with you. like, hold that, bro, right here for you. Someone please Photoshop this. Thank you very much. But that's S&D that's coming up. I really want to see TSM come out hot out of the gates and really pull something off that we weren't expecting.
All right, and do we see that happening, Jack? I mean, we talk about how you have this chance in Search and Destroy, but it's all relative, right? We're saying we're trying to give them chances, but it's tough.
Yeah, these guys played on this exact map in Week 11, and while there were a lot of shenanigans in it, the sniper presence from OpTic, Karma is one of the best in the game at hitting the crazy wall run snipes you don't think anyone else can hit. It's kind of like the accuracy he has with the Tempest. I think you want to try to limit that potential, but at the same time, obviously that was OpTic kind of fooling around, having some fun. Maybe OG don't even try to snipe, they just go with their normal AR SMG setup.
I'm really excited to see TSM play Search and Destroy because I know that they've been practicing. I know Pac-Man does some late night wager grinding on Hunted. Honestly, Cold Chain, Wheats, and Ivy, they've all played with each other. Ivy was grinding a lot of S&D tournaments at the beginning of this game. They're not going to be strangers to this game type and this map. I think this is a good map for them to play because, I mean, OpTic is such a powerhouse team. I think their smallest game type is probably Search and Destroy.
Right.
Their worst game type, but it's not even that bad, but it's going to be an interesting matchup.
Yeah, whenever you talk OpTic, you're talking relativity. But, Jack, you were talking about the snipes, and when Cold Chain says, hey, let's keep the SVG in.
This is what TSM have done a lot to try to SVG. He doesn't need overkill. We've seen that so far this weekend.
I don't want to do any more analyzation. I don't want to analyze anything else. I just want to see them play because I told you in the beginning, this map scares me the way OpTic's playing it.
Yeah, you make the right call from the start, then you suddenly get that surprise factor, the upsets coming in. And I mean, they could pull it off, right? If there's ever a map at a mode, they're going to do it. It's going to be here with Search and Destroy and Hunted as we see the specialists all being lined up. And now we're looking at the map as a whole. Jack, as we go into a little bit of a breakdown, we talked about it earlier. Nate's been talking about how scary the map is overall. What do you think is going to happen, especially maybe in favor of TSM?
I think the number one thing I want to see from the boys on TSM, especially on the offensive side, is do their best to overwhelm the solo presence of OpTic Gaming at B. I know, I put a lot of formals up on the screen earlier on. This time, though, making another point. You expect to see formal playing by that B bomb site inside the cave. You can see, obviously, I already put a smoke down. I want to see the smokes get used. They made it through the ban and protect. I want to see this utilized by TSM. As a squad, I expect to see them potentially go right off spawn, push up towards this red hut area, try to get control of cave. You have your AR presence, no thermals in play, overwhelm formal. But at the same time, you need the likes of Colchan to be near this middle map area right outside of Red Hut to watch over this red building on the opposite side right here, where basically you can have a presence from OpTic Gaming where they either have Crim 6 watching over middle map. If you try to have a submachine gun, get in towards this waterfall area, hit that wall run to try to overwhelm formal. You need to have a presence to make sure you can punish the OpTic player who's watching that area to give yourself the opportunity to get that first blood. If you can get control of cave, if you play the angles and kind of pre-aim the certain areas, your team should be able to take that round, especially with OpTic Gaming on defense.
All right, well, we talked about it earlier, Nate, about, you know, the difference between B and A. Obviously, A little scary, but once you get in there, you're going to have to hold it down a little bit better. Do you agree that maybe this is the best shot, try to get that isolated kill on B for TSM?
I mean, A is a really big little room area, Jack. So I think B isolation is going to be huge here. Yep. What I was saying in the first series when we watched Rise Nation and LG play against each other, I think middle map control is so important because it's a gateway to every part of this map. And I know that's true for a lot of different maps, but Hunted is so crucial because the water gives you access to A and B at the same time. You can hit the wall run into B on the bridge. You can jump straight into Hut at A side. So I'm so curious to see what strategies are going to be coming out here on this map, because I think what I want to see from TSM is just be as coordinated as possible. I don't think they want to give OpTic a chance to get these 1 or 2 picks, these first bloods, because then it just sets them back and puts them behind the entire round.
All right, well, TSM, do they have some tricks up their sleeves? Because they're going to need it. They're going up against the OpTic in game 2 of this best of 7. Maven and Mr. X take us into the game.
All right, looking forward to this game 2. S&D, I think, is where TSM's going to have to pick up some wins. Respawn's going to be so hard. The question, Matt, can they do it?
And this TSM team got into the Call of Duty World League winning a Game 5 on Hunted S&D. We've seen them have good performances in the past on it. Obviously, that was with Proofy, and you see Karma there on your screen. Expect him to have another huge game for OpTic Gaming as we can go right into round number 1 of Hunted Search and Destroy.
We're going to start off with Colchan. They talked about, the ban of the thermal, the fact that he likes to use that default scope, and that is what he's going to go with off the rip. He's gotten to a position here. Man, almost snaps onto one on the cross, not able to hit it, peeking once more. But you see, look at the pressure at B. So much information has to be coming in for OpTic as they pushed up across mid-map. The one player at A, let's see where Karma's playing. He's going to be right inside of window. The push looks to be wrapping around the back. And what are you learning from this split thus far here on offense?
So, one, I love the actual idea from TSM to put some pressure over towards the A side. Yeah. I love the angle that they had Colchan snipe from. I mean, he had I don't want to say an easy shot. It's one that you kind of expect him to hit with this shots we've seen him hit throughout stage 1. But love the idea. I love the strat here. And if you're OpTic, you're going to rely on one player to hold down this A site.
And this is the one player. It's going to be Karma that has to deal with the pressure coming in. He should be able to catch one. There's a second to his left. Can he pick that up as well? He sees the shots going down, knows there's more players to deal with, but he's done his job. He picked up one kill and stayed alive. It was traded out, however. At top steps, you have Scump. He's looking to pinch in. He's going to find one as well. And 3-2 advantage. Make it 2-2 right now with 15 seconds left on the clock. Bomb has not been planted.
Yeah, I mean, the guys on TSM need to go and get close to it as well. Wheat's really the only one in position. You're going to see Pac-Man pick up Scump down the stairs. This is a huge play, and actually, Wheats gets off of it. He's going to play for the kill here. He's going to chase Krim, and no, he's not going to be able to win the gunfight. Krim goes huge, wins the round for OpTic Gaming.
Very, very close to clutching that one up. But Krim, you talk about how clutch he can be, specifically in S&D, and he is going to win a tough gunfight. There.
Lose the Krim 6. He turns it on in the high-pressure moments, and right there in that 1v1. I do like the idea from Wheats to go out and challenge that, though. I mean, TSM, you're kind of playing with house money, right? Everybody expects OpTic to win this series. You go big trying to win that one. It's huge.
All right, well, offense now for OpTic with a 1-0 advantage in the series and also in the game. The push is going to come to B. Wheats is going to be peeking the corner on defense, trying to deal with any pressure. Tags one up with nade out. Smoke is down. One comes through the water, able to pick up the kill and the points for the trophy assist. But the push still coming in. They've managed to bully their way onto the site despite losing one member. Things starting to fall apart here for OpTic. Formal now left by himself.
Fantastic flank there by